these days. And these are very great issues that are facing the human resources. We look at the contemporary of HRM. Now you could see that many young men are getting out of jobs to form some new things for themselves now. For example, they're getting out of offices to start a business or start something. And it's already giving a lot of organization a problem. And this was due to rise in service economy in which customers contact skill also, because more important than the people shift to talent development, and people are now being, their talents are being developed and skills are being developed. And some of them, they began to have a higher employees for higher productivity. Then now they hire, engage and retain and provide a career path, because business criteria for companies to succeed. As things are standing today, the function needs to reinvent itself to address the following issue. Number one, striking a balance of fixed and contract employees based on specialized skill and flexibility, scaling, then option for the business. Then two, hiring top quality talent in numbers. I used to say that there are jobs, but there are no people to work it out. Then three, getting present day leadership to follow leadership style more conducively to the millennial workforce. Then number four, highly level of analytics to make talent, pay and compensation decision more scientific, also allowing experimentation and innovation based on analytics to try new initiatives. Then also number five, due to talent obsolescence, HRM has to contain with the compliance and regulation issues such as the visa to trade unionism, then also innovation ways to foster diversity and inclusion, not as a compliance ritual, but as a critical driver of business outcome. Then we also have to give the VUCA state of affairs. Then HR has to facilitate learning agilities across levels as cultural of survivor and better adaptability to change. They need to enable the executive team to redesign organizational structure for faster response to changing market conditions, experiment like networks of a team as opposed to the functional silo may be needed. Therefore, structural and process change may central to this function. Then overall, there needs to be more hand on deck. So we are looking at that, and we are all looking at some of those things we want to look at today. We are looking at the effects of globalization on human resources management, global economy and human resources, influence of globalization, inclusion and diversity on management roles. Then why is diversity in the workplace important to employees, and advantage and disadvantage of having a more diverse work to us. Then we look at gig. Many talented people have decided to leave the traditional workforce, like I said, exchange for freelance work in the area of expertise. This gives them desire and flexible in lifestyle. You know, they leave one company and knowing that they are well developed. For example, an accountant is well developed might just make up his mind to leave a job and then face his accounting professions by becoming a consultant also. Then we also look at the innovations and automation. Human resource department are often tasked with training and developing employees. This means that when a new company rollout includes technology advance, the human resource department needs to prepare itself to train people on how to do those jobs so that they can have a capable hands on those jobs. Then we also look at changing regulatory issues. We look at changing regulatory issues. compliance with regulatory issues is a primary duty of the human resources. For example, there might be rules and regulations that are attached to the world of employment that they have to follow. For example, normally the time for work is 8 hours. So if the government is changing or the organization is changing it, they must also adapt to the rules and regulations of the organization, make change as it's supposed to make. Then we also look at the recruiting and retaining top talent. Finding and keeping great talent is difficult. They are very difficult, and companies can pay, to remove somebody who's talented from a small company, and that means that human resource managers are always looking to find talent, loyal perspectives for the company. So it's very important for human resource managers to look for talent, also internally and externally, to look for people who are effective. Talented people are very effective, and some people in LICAD, they go to LICAD, HR must not only cultivate this relationship, they must also cultivate internal employees that are suitable for development and also promotions. Then we also look at the diversity and the harmony issues. The business owners know that diverse workforce that's working together in harmony will build stronger team. Yes, yield better ideas and offer broad customer satisfaction. However, without harmony, that diverse workforce has low morals and therefore low productivity. Now, what we are saying is that diversity is a serious legal and liability of if employee or customers are feeling harassed in some ways. So human resource must have a way of understanding diversity law and must ensure that the company has the protocol to deal also appropriately with the compliance, and also to focus on harmonizing the diversity. Then we also have the HR development issues. The human resource function is more than a way to fulfill a company's hiring benefits administration, payrolls and training needs. And also it takes a joint effort between management and HR to meet the employees' needs and develop them as a strategic asset. So HR developed issue occur in all kinds of organizations, and business owners should address the ones they find in their companies. Then we look at the impact of globalization. Well, why human being resource development is still being considered as an academic field. It is issues are common to many business worldwide. To understand current issues of HRM, it's important to acknowledge the influence of one world economy. That means, from one place to another, you must be able to know what is going on. Based on that, the workers interact with people from different cultures who have different work attitude, but communicate effectively to succeed in their job. Then we look at the learning environment. What are the learning environment like? It will be unusual for a very small business to recruit a human resource development expert, but an HR specialist may bring that kind of experience to a company. HR development specialized must help the employer create a dynamic learning environment. We know that once you are in a good environment, competition will already be there. Then they must also anticipate the future learning needs of the workforce. What are the future learning needs? Include training needs of current workers and need of workers the company has not recruited. Then we look at innovation. We know innovations are the ideas that have been put to work. In a small business, it can be tough to pinpoint where employees are innovating, especially the company employs a single business strategy to develop a product or service. However, the HR staff needs to keep the owners and management team focused on how to innovate so that a single product or services is improved and different more efficiently and effectively to the target market. Then we also look at the cultures, the culture in HRM. A business culture may activate, inhibit innovation by keeping working conditions so rigid that employees have little time to experiment or suggest better ways of doing things. Then a culture can promote ways of thinking that leaving little room for a voice saying there is a way to do it better. For example, always focus on short-term results, leaving no time for thinking about about the big pictures. So there must be a culture. Then we also look at the overview of human resources management team are responsible for a wide variety of companies and business functions. In the past, the HR department was typically only in charge of administration functions such as hiring and benefits. But in the modern workplace, HR management team are actually involved in the company strategic planning as well. Then we also look at the recruiting. HRM, we know HRM to be those who recruit. And when you are recruiting, you recruit a professional. You go for professional people that will stay long, and picking the right candidate, and also becoming flexible when it is time to recruit people. And in the age of internet, HR management team must adapt to technological environment and find new unconventional ways to attract candidates, such as online social network groups and media. Then we look at the retention, how to retain your workers. You don't employ people to just let them. One of the ways to retain your worker is to pay them a good salary and give them promotion. Not that when you employ somebody has been working for you before, then you employ somebody again. Now, in the organization where there's no structure, anything goes on. Organization that has no structure, anything goes on. Employee can decide to employ a new person today and pay more than the people who have been working, that are even more experienced than him, without pay them. All these things, they happen. And, just employ somebody, or just employ a student to lecture and is being paid more than the lecturer himself. These are not what? This cannot show retentions, cannot show any level of retention. So the modern HRM department must seek ways to retain high performance by upgrading the people who have been in the job before and not paying them the same thing like you are paying the new staffs. Even no matter what the qualification, there should be a structure, and that structure helps. Then we also look at the benefits. Look at some benefits in it, and some of those benefits are major issue for many HRM management teams. The HRM department must decide that types of benefits to offer employees, including medical insurance, their dental insurance, vision insurance, vacation and personal ways, and more. All these things, they will help a worker to go. Then sometimes even retirement plan is a very also good one that will give them retirement plan. Retirement plans. So, and that is what it should be. Then we also have the generalization differences. Then we look at, according to 2008 study by the Society of Human Resource Management, it says that generational differences and upcoming baby boom retirement will have a huge impact on companies. The baby boomers generation was the largest group of workers in the working place until when the Gen Y Jenny entered into the workforce. Then Generation Y entered into the workforce. Then Generation X was a smaller group and adapted to baby boomers work style. But the Generation Y is larger and want a great work balance and also different types of management HR department. Then we look at the checklist. The checklist for global checklist for global human resource. The global human resource is the process of administering a company's policies and procedures relating to its employees across geographical and cultural boundaries with the prolific use of the internet, and also then we use that, and we have the techniques that are useful to companies of all sizes that conduct business with consumers who live many different locations or who employ people from their varied cultural and ethnic background. Then we also have the recruitment and retention. We've talked about that before, where you recruit people and not just recruiting them, there will be retention. Then we also have what is called the work-life balance. Another important factor of global human resource is keeping employees maintaining a good work balance life. You know, they are working and their life also is also balanced. This is closely related to ensuring fair benefits and compensation, but takes it a step further by embracing compensation program, not found also tradition. So there must be a compensation program. You know, some companies, they will always tell their staffs to travel with their wives to other countries, you know, countries like South Africa to go and relax. Then we also look at the training and professional development, providing specialized training and professional development program for employees in a vital human resource role, particularly in a global business investing in employees yield a positive returns for the company. So we have to look at that. Then motivated workforce. There are some things that you have to do to motivate your workforce that will bring productivity into it. It's a force. For example, giving your workers some things, you know, to enjoy themselves. You know, for example, as the Christmas, New Year is coming, there are companies that will buy things for their workers just to make them have a good wife, a good blessing, and everything good. Then under that, we look at reward, then the reward for them and financial incentives or work-life balance benefits. Then under that, we have the strategic flexibility, rigidity, and barrier to the development of this. Now, what we are saying is that the flexibility means being amenable to adapting a company strategy to suit very internal and external factors that can affect it day-to-day operations. You put in some, you know, make it simple for people, flexible, and when you are talking to them, you talk to them flexible. Rigidity is a management approach that is exactly opposite of flexibility. This method means that managers are content to leave employees and resource where they are, even in the face of adverse threats. The idea is to read out the storm by creating a stable and secure organization that can survive by challenge. You know, so when you create a very good a good flexibility ways of work, rigidity will be moved out. But rigidity can sometimes work to the detriment of a business when manager refuses to make necessary changes, such as cutting back on the budget or firing employees who are under performance. The barrier to development. Barrier within and external to the organization can obstruct the implementation of strategic plans. If managers are not held accountable for their actions and plans, a climate of totalitarianism may develop. Employees won't feel like they can openly communicate with one another and with their supervisors, and their performance may suffer as a result. Also, the strategic management. When we look at what is called the strategic management, the trick to getting around the barrier to the development of a solid management approach is to train current and future managers to communicate effectively with all levels of stakeholders within the organization, including the higher managers, their peers, and their employees. Creating a climate of open communication helps to foster true and strengthen the ability of the business to implement its strategic and plans in easy ways. Then we also look at the best challenges facing HRM department. We look at the challenges. Some of them, the challenges that we face, number one is the talent retention. We want to retain the right people, that has, what we are looking for. We call them the right people. How do we retain talent? And when we are talking about the contemporaries, we're talking about even the talent, leaving the job that they are doing and moving to other professional ways. So HRM, the resource professionals themselves, anticipate that retaining the best employee will be greater HRM challenge in 2022, according to the November 2021 poll by the Society of Human Resources. So there's going to be problem with job. Then leadership development is another. Look at the leadership development. How do we develop our leadership capacity? The leadership capacity to make sure that once they are developed, retention in two ways. Look at how to retain them, and retention be in two ways. Employee often indicates poor managers' leadership as reason for leaving the job. Additional employee wants more active leader role in decision until within their departments and jobs, which may necessarily necessitate training. Unfortunately, because some struggles to come up with the budget necessary for strong employee training and development programs, that emphasis of leadership growth. So once they are not developed, there shall be no growth. Then we talk about culture before, we talk about the culture of the organization, and we talk about rigidity and flexibility of the culture. What are the culture of the organization? We need to know, because it increases and also make the people to work if there's a good cultural settled issues among them. Then we also look at technical talent. The technical talent, that lack of technical talent has made it difficult for companies to find a specialized position. That means all the talent, all the people are not technical enough, and there's always problem. Then we look at the advantage global companies gain by deploying multicultural senior managers team. One, we look at the benefits. Multicultural senior manager team gives your company your team gives your global company a competitive advantages, because their executives are known the geographical area and the culture of the regions, so they know it. So a global organization with multicultural leadership is often viewed as more flexible and less biased due to the senior manager's team divergent. Then we'll move on to diversity management. We've talked about that before, diversity management, and where we need to know that cultural difference can create substantial obstacles to effective teamwork, often generate miscommunication and benefit to the organization. Then we also look at the equity, promoting employees of different ethical background to senior management position can send a positive message to your employee and to candidate for job opening. It shows both present and potential employees that the company makes promotions based on merit. And we also look at leadership. When we talk about leadership, we talk about multinationals, leaders create a positive image for the global organization they work for. Many of these leaders are cosmopolitan, flexible, operating-minded, and unbiased, and may have the ability to understand and bring different cultures to the organization. And we look at the competitive advantage. When we talk about that a company has a competitive advantage, that means it has an edge over other organizations or other firms or other competitive organization. And when we talk about competitive organization, we are talking about organization that does what that company is also doing. Then we also talk about talent. Talent is also a powerful instrument that organizations are looking at. They look at talent, are people talented or not? Then we also look at the mentality. Mentality is what of leadership. Are they smooth are they having smooth transition during organizational change occur, or when remain calm and focus with clear goals and commits, according to the U.S. Officer of Personnel Management. So the mentality of people, and you know that mentality of people to changes are very difficult. So for people to change, very, very difficult. Then we look at the market. We look at the market. It said advances in technology, transportation, and trade agreements open up on an entire new world of opportunity for your product and services. Then we talk about merger. Merger is coming together of two organizations, two competitive organizations coming together to meet the various demands and of the global. Then they can always merge or go into acquisition of joint venture, which can help solidify your position in the countries. Then we'll also look at the management. The management are also part of those things. A good management, we talked about flexibility and rigidity. A good management that is flexible, that understands its worker, is going to retain more workers than so any other. Then we look at the future challenges in HRM. Some of the future challenges in HRM. Well, because of our time, I would always want to stop here, but there are so lots of challenges in the HRM that people don't know. They don't know. For example, online job board presents companies with a multitude of talented candidates, but this presents a challenge for HR staff because to fill limited position, they must sift through a staggering number of resumes. So next, when we are coming, we are going to get the class, we are going to look at the future challenges on the HRM, and in that we'll be looking at the social media, we'll be looking at the globalization, staff turnover, their condition of work and the environment that people are working. So thank you so much for today. I come your way again tomorrow, the same time and the same way. Appreciate you all. Have a blessed day. Thank you. Àwọn èèyàn tó wà attend class wọn ọ̀pọ̀ ni 7, 11.